This morning, an ROV, or remote-operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time. Additionally, we've been in close contact with the British and French Consuls General to ensure that they are fully apprised and that their concerns are being addressed. The outpouring of support in this highly complex search operation has been robust and immensely appreciated. We are grateful for the rapid mobilization of experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew. We'll now take questions.
Rear Admiral, can you talk about the delay in reporting the vessel missing and what impact that had on the search?
This was a incredibly complex case, and we're still working to develop the details for the timeline involved with this casualty and the response. And so we'll provide that information.
About the recovery of the body.
What other debris have been found? And have you found any trace of those who were?
So this is an incredibly complex operating environment on the seafloor, over 2 miles beneath the surface. And so the remote operating vehicle has been searching, and it is highly capable. And we've been able to classify parts of the pressure chamber for the Titan submersible. Let me refer to one of my undersea experts here, Mr. Paul Hankin, to talk about the nature of some of the debris.
Thank you, Admiral. So essentially, we found 5 different major pieces of debris that told us that it was the remains of the Titan. The initial thing we found was the nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that there was a catastrophic event. Shortly thereafter, we found a second smaller debris field. Within that debris field, we found the other end of the pressure hull, the aft end bell, which was basically comprised of the totality of that pressure vessel. We continue to map the debris field, and as the Admiral said, we will do the best we can to fully map out what's down there.
Thanks, Paul.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
it's a very difficult question to ask, but it will be an important one for the families, of course. What are the prospects of recovering the bodies of the missing crew?
So the questions was related. I'm restating the question from the standpoint of sometimes it's hard to hear the question here. What are the prospects for recovering crew members? And so this is a incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor. And the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. And so we'll continue to work and continue to search the area down there, but I don't have an answer for prospects at this time.
Admiral Tom Costello of NBC News. Is there any suggestion? Sorry, any suggestion at all that the sub itself collided with the wreckage of Titanic, or that instead it might have imploded above the wreckage and then rained down nearby?
So the question was, is there any question as to whether or not the sub collided with the Titanic or whether it imploded above and debris field created from that? So the location of the Titan submersible was in an area that was approximately 1,600 feet from the wreck of the Titanic. I have an expert here that is familiar with that area and can talk about the debris field and what the debris field indicates in terms of where the casualty may have occurred.
Rear Admiral, really quickly, can you tell me when that massive fleet will be called back?
The expert voice is coming up to answer the question.
Thank you, Admiral. So the question is, where does the wreck lie in relation to the Titanic? I didn't hear the Admiral's answer. I think 1,600 feet. Was that correct, Admiral?
Yep, you got it.
So that's off the bow of Titanic. It's in an area where there is not any debris of Titanic. It is a smooth bottom. To my knowledge and anything I've seen, there's no Titanic wreckage in that area. And again, 200 plus meters from the bow, and consistent with the location of last communication for an implosion in the water column. And the size of the debris field is consistent with that implosion in the water column.
Thanks.
What would cause the implosion? In terms of the timing here, you say that this was a catastrophic implosion. And I know it's early on, but is it your estimation that this happened right at the moment when they lost contact, an hour and 45 minutes after the descent?
So the question was about the timing of the catastrophic implosion. Right now, it is too early to tell with that. We know that as we've been prosecuting this search over the course of the last 72 hours and beyond, that we've had sonar buoys in the water nearly continuously and have not detected any catastrophic events when those sonar buoys have been in the water. So,
Can you describe what happens from here, sir, in the next days and weeks in terms of finding any more debris? What happens from here?
So we will. The question was, what happens from here? What's the next phase? And so right beyond, now, again, our thoughts are with the families and making sure that they have an understanding as best as we can provide of what happened and begin to find some closure. In terms of the large process, we're going to continue to investigate the site of the debris field. And then I know that there's also a lot of questions about how, why, and when did this happen. And so, those are questions that we will collect as much information as we can on now, while the governments are meeting and discussing, what an investigation of this nature of a casualty might look like. This is something that happened. I'll just remind everybody. This is something that happened in a remote portion of the ocean with people from several different countries around the world And so it is a complex case to work through, but I'm confident that those questions will begin to get answered.
From the UK, is there any suggestion that time factors, speed, anything could have prevented this or saved 5 people on board, or is this quite simply a catastrophic accident?
The question was there any suggestion that time factors may have played a role or a consideration in the casualty here? And so the debris field is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. Again, while we were prosecuting the search, we had listening devices in the water throughout and did not hear any signs of catastrophic failure from those. And so we're going to continue to investigate, or we're going to continue to document the information there and understand, based on all the information we have, the timeline. So the question was, what are the resources required for the investigation, and which ships will be pulling out and staying in? And so it's too early for me to talk about an investigation. That's a decision that's going to be taken outside of the search and efforts that I was leading. But we do have a number of vessels. We have 9 vessels on the scene right now. We had medical personnel on scene. We had other technicians on scene. And so we will begin to demobilize personnel and vessels from the scene over the course of the next 24 hours. But we're going to continue remote operations on the seafloor. And I don't have a timeline for when we would intend to stop remote operations on the seafloor at this point.
Admiral, as a result of this, do you think there should be changes in the way these are safety rated or inspected so that this won't happen again?
Yeah, the question was essentially about do you think that there should be changes in safety ratings or inspection for these standards? I know that there's a lot of questions about why, how, when this happened, and the members of the Unified Command, have those questions too, as professionals and experts that work in this environment. And this is an incredibly difficult and dangerous environment to work in out there. But those questions about the regulations that apply and the standards, that's going to be, I'm sure, focus of future review. Right now, we're focused on documenting the scene and continuing the subfloor operation.
We don't know the timing here, but there was the banging noises yesterday that redeployed the ROVs to this area. Is there anything conclusive in those noises, and did that redirection and then finding this debris field today all help?
So throughout the search efforts, we reacted to the information that we had available to us, and while we continued to send it off for deeper analysis. Again, really complex operating environment for us to work in. Let me check with the experts, but there doesn't appear to be any connection between the noises and the location on the seafloor. Again, this was a catastrophic implosion of the vessel, which would have generated a significant broadband sound down there that the sonar buoys would have picked up.
This will be the last question.
Can I just ask you about your comment regarding the families?
That dropped into the ocean today arrived early this morning. It seems that Swiftly was able to find them. Talk about the speed of that. And also, were all of the assets involved moved as swiftly as possible to the area? And was any help turned away, as some lawmakers have criticized the
This was a incredibly complex operation, and we were able to mobilize an immense amount of gear to the site in just a really remarkable amount of time, given the fact that we started without any sort of vessel response plan for this or any sort of pre-stage resources. And so the equipment that was brought on site this morning that we were using was a pelagic ROV capable of operating at 6,000 meters, cameras, sonar, other articulating arms and resources on it. And it, we had to transport it here through C-17 aircraft. This is 2 aircraft that it took to get this up here. And so we've really had the right gear on site and worked as swiftly as possible to bring all of the capabilities that we had to bear to this search and rescue effort. And it was just a huge international and interagency effort to make this happen. So I'm really grateful for all of the responders that came out to support this and really search for the vessel. It is a difficult day for all of us, and it's especially difficult for the families, and our thoughts are with the families today. But this was an immense support, and we had the right gear on the bottom to find it. So thank you.
Well, there you have it. Tragic news coming in from the press conference from the Coast Guard. Looks like there was debris found. It was, however, from an implosion. They have now deduced that the sub had a catastrophic implosion. One of the biggest things I caught from that, Kim, I don't know if you did, was the fact that they said the audio of that would have been massive, so loud that the sonar devices should have discovered it, which to me implies that this was an earlier moment, because we had sonars all the way around the past couple days searching in the area. You'd think that would have been found. So it does seem like maybe this happened. Again, I'm speculating a bit, but based on what they said, that maybe this happened earlier before even the search begun. We also clearly, sadly, were told that this is probably the last we're going to hear about this, because we're not going to get much more from the ocean floor. And they talk about how just dangerous and deadly and wild the ocean is at that level, specifically between the ocean life and the currents and everything else. And the fact that it's very difficult to get down there and bring things back up. It's very unlikely they will have bodies or other items found from the wreckage, but they did say they will update if anything changes. There will be no more press conferences, they also said, but it does seem like there will be further conversations regarding the regulations. I don't know. This is international water, but can these ships still proceed the way that this one was? I'm really angry. As sad as this news is, I feel for the families. This is horrible, tragic news. I just am angry at this company, OceanGate. They should have been better on top of it. Now, I'm summarizing this whole show. We were live for about a couple hours after, but we trimmed this show, and I wanted to give you sort of a summary of where we stood. And we had a much longer conversation about this with Lewis and Kim and shared some of our thoughts of anger and frustration. But I got to say, in recapping and now with some time spent since that press conference, I'm just glad we have this closure, at least, Kim, because it was troubling to keep watching these streams and everybody and the news. News Nation had a countdown oxygen clock at a certain point. It was just too much for me. A lot of experts were saying what I think a lot of people didn't want to admit. I wanted to hold out hope, and I was grateful and hopeful, but I had experts on our show. We were speaking to others. This was a very hard thing to find. It was very unlikely they were going to find them. We were hoping they would. Doesn't sound like they would, but we can't deny the fact that this was a risk that these passengers took. Now, how much did they know? They did sign waivers. We'll find out, I guess, in the future from as lawsuits or things happen through OceanGate. But I'm angry at OceanGate because it feels like this shouldn't have happened. It feels like this should have been preventable. It feels like there were things on this ship that were shoddy. There's quotes that have been come out with the CEO who has lost his life at this. He was there, but these comments are now chilling that safety is just pure waste. I mean, this is scary stuff. And these were all interviews and things. There are lawsuits happening. There was another person who was on the boat who says it was shoddy.
The strip lightings, something you get at a DIY shop. Small cramped surfaces. I wasn't happy with some of the design, like the thrusters on the outside with the cables there. I thought that was a snagging hazard. But what really did it for me was they flatly refused to get any form of certification. And it seemed that they had no intention of getting any certification for going down to those depths once, let alone several times. Oh, they also had a lightning strike during one of the testings, which blew all of the electronics. You know, these things happen, but they didn't have it ended the testing. And that made me ask, well, where's the redundancy? Because it's normal in a vessel of any form that has human life. You've got redundancy of things. You usually have two of two. So you'd have a redundant separate system, and then you'd have two of those. But the fact that one lightning strike blew the whole thing was, well...
Yeah, that's not good. And all this is coming forward just makes this obviously tragic. This is sad, but just frustrating. Kim, again, as we wrap up our final thoughts, we're wrapping up the stream, and I want to make sure we did a summary for people watching the clip version. You can go join, hit all of our commentary. But yeah, it is a combination of angry and sad, in my opinion, right? Because feels like this could have been prevented. At the same time, it feels like they could have done some better homework to look into this company and understand that these risks might have been greater than typical ships that were doing this venture. What are your final thoughts on all this?
I think this whole situation, whether we're talking about the dive, the recovery effort, all of it is so complex. And I think that's part of why this story has been so fascinating, is because there's so many different layers. There's so many different pieces of information. And now, unfortunately, skeletons coming out of the closet when it comes to Ocean Gate. And I think people have mixed emotions, and that's completely understandable. I mean, at least on my part, I express my condolences to the families. I am definitely frustrated. I don't feel like this should have had to happen. And I do have my frustrations, but I think right now I am just happy that the family knows what happened. And I know people like to use the word closure, and in situations like that, there is no such thing as closure, but at least they have answers and the grieving process can begin.
Well said. I mean, that's really what this is about. Exactly. Just having some sort of closure and not an endless search for nothing. It is nice that we have some sort of answer and not try to find some positive in this. It wasn't the terrifying ordeal it sounds like. I mean, it may have been, but I'd like to be positive and think if this really was the implosion, this is like an instant demise, which is at least easier to process than the horror story we were being told about this floating coffin in the dark as oxygen dwindled down. So at least there's some peace in that. And as we talked about it, look, this is a historic site. These people were adventurers trying to be part of this Titanic history. While obviously the family needs to get their answers and do what they need to do, I would imagine there's some positive to find in that they are now part of this history. That's going to anger some people, like leave this site alone. But at the same time, if I was an adventurer or an ocean person like this, obsessed with this Titanic, to know that they were, it happened near the vessel, near the wreckage, there is that. They will forever be part of this. And that's something to take as either a positive or a frustration. I'm going to take it as a positive. If you're going to go, that's better than being hit by a car, in my opinion. But this is just a sad day. And I look, it's frustrating because I put some thoughts out there. People, oh, you're victim shaming, etc. I don't know. Look, I think one can be sad and still mad. And I'm both. I'm angry at this scenario particularly because there was a father who took his 19-year-old son. And that breaks my heart as a dad. It really does. I have massive sympathy for him, for all the families in this. This is awful. We wanted to find them. However, they signed up for this. This is a really dangerous job. You can't go down that deep. So as sad as this is, it's not surprising. I wish we had a different outcome, but at least we now do have resolution to what happened here. Perhaps we'll get some new info, but it sounds like the Coast Guard's not going to say much more. But I wanted to at least give you a recap of all the things we've been talking about and our thoughts here as we proceed. We'll keep you updated as more arises or if experts are able to give you more. So stay tuned here tomorrow. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts, smash the like button. And what do you think down below? Am I crazy? Am I being too insensitive? Or do you share some frustration too? Can something be both sad and stupid? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Obviously, right now, all the love in the world sent to these people's families. This is a horrible loss, but at least we have some closure here today. Make sure you support It's Kim as well, Lewis at Nerd Report. We'll have more coverage of this and so much more here on Popcorn Planet. Nerd Report is next. If you're watching live, going over there, or if you want to check them out, subscribe to everybody. We appreciate you guys. Go tell someone that you love them. Life is short. Life is a gift. Every day is a gift. Events like this only remind me of it. We want to take those adventures. We want to do those risks. But man, enjoy it while you're here, and go share it with someone you love. Go tell someone you love them. I love all you guys. I'm grateful for all you guys. Thank you for hearing our commentary here, and thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Stay tuned for more.